This is our podcast, where we belly flop into the bouncy house of mystery, surrounded by conspiracies and unexplained phenomena, with theories so bizarre, they may actually make you say,
"Are they thinking with their butt?" Welcome back, everybody.
oh yeah.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Chris.
And this is Stop Thinking with Your Butt.
But. Why?
Ready?
No. We nailed it that time because...
You ruined it.
Oh, I did. But yeah, Stop Thinking with Their Butt. There you go. Our awesome show.
Why are you being so weird?
I'm just trying to be...
Be yourself.
I am being myself. I'm so
No,
natural.
You're not.
I am natural. Yo.
Okay. Well, we can't fool around too much. We got to get into this.
Hey, I'm excited.
I've been researching this topic for months. It's driving me crazy. My brain's about to explode. I got to get it out of my system.
I'm excited to hear this because I know this is like one of the first episodes that you started researching, but yet we did like 14 episodes since.
Because my brain exploded. I had to wait for it to rebuild.
I'm super excited to listen to this.
Just really quick though, Katie confessions. You know how we always do like that, the weirdest thing that's happened that you've seen or done or did since the last time we recorded. Okay, so
you're speaking really fast.
I know, because I got to get this out really quick because we got to get into the topic. So remember that time that there was a piece of candy on the table and you just picked it up and ate it, and then I told you that I was saving it for a little kid who asked me to hold it?
Oh, yes, I do.
I made that up. I just wanted you to feel bad.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so now into the topic.
Wait a second. You can't just throw that out at me. Did you tell the backstory on that?
No.
I'll tell the backstory real quick because I don't feel bad anymore. Man. So we were at
I was proving a point very passively.
So we were at a fair, and from Katie work, we do fairs and so on.
Not we, I.
Yeah, but you do fairs, but sometimes I help.
Sometimes you come in tow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we participate. And so while we were cleaning up, there was a piece of candy on the table, and without thinking, because I assumed that...
No thought behind it, Chris picks up the candy, opens it, puts it in his mouth.
Yep.
Doesn't ask where it came from, doesn't ask what it's doing there. I haven't had candy on my table the whole time.
And where did you say this candy came from?
I said that a little kid came over, put the candy down, asked me to watch it for them while they went to the bathroom.
So, lie number one.
Because I wanted you to stop picking up things that didn't belong to you and claiming them for yourself.
But was I justified? Because it was us. Whose was it?
You still don't know. That's the point I'm trying to make.
But it was so good.
That could have been a prisoner's butt candy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When you told me that there was a kid and there was actually kids around. I had
a ton of kids coming by to visit me.
I told her, dude, well, we need to pack this stuff up.
You were like, we need to go. We got to get out of here before they come back.
Yeah. No guilt. Candy was good. That kid learned a valuable lesson. If he existed.
So the valuable lesson should have been taught to you, being the adult.
Nope.
Nothing learned? Okay, moving on.
Well,
I was hoping...
in retrospect, I'll think about it.
Okay.
I will grow as a person.
Thank you. That's all I want. Just grow, develop and grow. If you're not growing, you're not slowing. Or wait, if you're not growing, you're slowing. Remember I said that quote to you once and then you quoted it back to me. You're like, this great man once told me. And I'm like, I told you that a week ago. And you're like, oh yeah.
Well, you're welcome because I listen.
Okay.
So.
We're moving on.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was our weird thing. So now we're going to go straight into the topic that you are going to talk about.
So let me pull my notes up here. It's going to be really like off the cuff because there's so much. It starts off with the first insult.
Okay.
Which is that this is an esoteric topic.
That's a big word.
And I'm like, I was like, oh, esoteric.
I'm making things up in my head what that is.
I'm going to look that up. And it means topics that are like too deep for the common man to understand.
That's insulting.
So I was like, oh. And then
It was.
It was. It chewed me up and spit me out. That's why it took me so long to cover this, because I had to keep stopping to take naps and Tylenol.
Well, I'm excited to hear this.
Okay, so sources: Ephesians 5:11, which is a name of a. It's a name of a site. Yeah, National Trust, Grunge, New World Encyclopedia Britannica, Branch Collective, Philosophy for Life, Tar Daniel, Archive, History, bunch of YouTube videos, and 800 million other sources that I was everywhere. I went everywhere.
Okay.
I went everywhere. So, we're going to talk about a secret society. A secret esoteric society.
I'm excited because I don't know a lot about secret societies. And that's why, just so you all know, we are kind of like you, potentially audience, where we may not know a bunch of things.
Ouch.
Oh, okay. Well, not like that. But being like, if you ask
We're
me,
like you, idiots. No, we're researching these topics because we want to learn about them.
yes, and they're interesting to us, and we're excited to learn. And we're almost putting our perspective of someone who may not be like fully deep involved in everything,
Or just doesn't have the time
to
research it on their own.
Yeah. So what does the average Joe, when they hear about these mysteries, phenomenon, conspiracies, how are they adjusting to it? How are they absorbing it? And what are their thought processes when they hear about these things? And that's kind of the reaction that we're trying to give, because again, we don't claim that we're experts, but that we are becoming experts. I think as we're
not
19
slowing,
episodes in.
We're growing.
We're growing. 20 episodes.
We're at, I think this is going to be 20.
Yes.
Oh, happy 20th episode,
happy
everybody.
20. Yeah. No, so I'm excited about it. And so
Okay.
let's
So
go.
it started with, because it was one of the first topics that I started researching.
Very first
Because
topic.
I was on a quest for magic.
Magic's so fun,
Not the card game Magic.
which I play.
Not.
I do want to give a quick shout out to your brother, Mark, if he's listening.
Because he's a kick-ass Magic player.
Well, he is, but then and every time we meet, we always bring Magic decks.
Yeah.
And we played last time we met just a month ago or so.
Yeah.
And it was an epic battle. I did win. Huzzah. But yeah, just every time we think of Magic, I think of your brother, Mark.
Yeah. He taught me how to play. Memories.
Yeah, it's fun.
Hi,
Memory.
Mark. Okay, so I started on this quest for magic. Not any of this like storybook magic or fantasy magic. I wanted real magic.
Like Wicca magic.
Wiccan.
Like sex magic.
Well, I'm not opposed.
I always tell you I'm open to ideas.
I know. It's scary how open you are to sex magic ideas. No, I wanted the casting of a spell and turning someone into a newt. I wanted magic.
Yeah.
So it comes to, my findings come to the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
And I've never heard of this until you mentioned it.
And it is still disappointing.
Well, I'm excited to potentially.
I think my slogan is Katie, the Great Disappointment.
Yes, that is true.
Or the
There's some of
Greatly
those.
Disappointed. So here we go. Going back, way, way back. Think of like dinosaur era.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure they had.
super far.
I'm sure they had a secret society. Is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
The T-Rex were probably like rubbing elbows, secret handshakes, throwing signs, things like that. So what I'm getting at is secret societies have been around forever.
Okay.
Forever. That is Oliver trying to claw his way through the door into the pod room.
Let me help him.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, little cat.
Oliver's our rescue cat, and he doesn't know what no means, and we're okay with that because he had a hard life. So what I'm going to tell you about today is how mysticism molds and combines with Freemasonry
Okay.
and becomes this magical secret order.
I'm excited because if there is real magic, I would study it.
I would too.
Totally be all over it.
So it all starts in, I'm going to take you back to London in the 19th century. So
Fun.
during the 1800s.
Your time period.
My favorite time period. If you want to get me hot.
Excited.
You just bring up the 19th century. So Londoners and socialites were obsessed with mysticism. This is the era with seances and tarot readings.
That's exciting.
And like where they would dedicate an entire room in their home to seances and things like that. So this is the era. And it's coming right out of the Romantic era. So the Romantic era is when people were celebrating nature and the common man. And there was a focus on like the individual experience, and women were being idolized more. And the concept of isolation and melancholy was acceptable. So like it was okay to be deep, dark, and mysterious. It was cool. It was cool.
Okay.
So that's the Romantic era. And so then coming out of that, you add the mysticism. And this is when people really start free thinking.
Okay.
And all the churches across Europe were like,
That's right.
they were like,
We can't control you.
Come to God. And everybody else is like, well, I want to go down the street and talk to Anna because apparently she can talk to dead people and it'd be kind of cool to see what she has to say. And the church is like, get back here right now.
Sinner.
Yeah. You heretic, get away. So it wasn't that people weren't believing in God. They were believing in God, but they were believing that they were independently capable of receiving message from him without the church holding their hand.
Yes, I think that's mainly Protestant.
No, I think Protestants were only like, God does this, God does that. I have no mind. God, God, God.
Well, I think the Catholics, between Catholics and Protestants and so on, where the Catholics was super, you got to go to the church. Protestants were, no, it's more individual. Now, they're still like the church, right? But, okay.
I only think of Protestants and the witch hunt. Everybody, like any sin that you commit any sin and you're the devil.
Yeah. Okay.
So the church is like, what are you doing? And people were like, it's cool. Father, Bishop, Your Holiness, sir. And then the church would be like, the devil is talking through you. So from the very beginning, the church does not back any society that is not under the rule of the church. So mysticism had nothing to do with lack of faith. Or lack of faith in God or a higher being. It was the belief that a personal connection could be made without the help from an opulent and grand industry, such as organized religion at this time.
That makes a lot of sense. And thank you for explaining it like that.
Does that make sense? So it's like people could have a religious experience without the help of organized religion. And I don't like to think I'm dumb.
You are not dumb.
Sometimes
you are an angel.
Sometimes dumb just falls out of my face. I was getting cult and occult confused for a very long time. I thought they were the same thing.
Ooh, now I got to think about what the difference is. So cult is if you're actually in a cult where you have, unique, off the cuff, non-standardized ideology.
Exactly.
A cult is just almost like a taboo type of thing.
Exactly. See, you're very good. Look at you just free flowing. Yeah. So a cult is a group of individuals who firmly believe in something that's socially abstract for the time.
Yes.
Such as a spaceship trailing behind a comet, which will take you back to Nibiru.
Hey, you do not.
Or forming polyamorous relationships and scream healing.
The hell is polyamorous? Is it like multiple
partners.
Oh, okay.
Free love.
Yeah.
Which I guess isn't a bad thing, but it's not socially
But why are you wanting it?
Herpes. I don't know.
Okay, touche, whatever.
Okay. But an occult is people who practice or study supernatural, such as mysticism, magical beliefs, or study phenomena, which things that fall in line with the occult would be like tarot readings, seances, divination, and Kabbalah. Which we'll talk more about
I'm excited to hear about
later.
that.
But this is all happening during the 1800s.
Dinosaur time.
Yes. So during this time, also during this time, there's the French Revolution is happening.
Ooh.
So the state puts out a mandate that any society that requires
the state being the British state.
I don't know. Don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just
details. It's too esoteric.
Europe. Go ahead.
Yeah, Europe. I don't know. I can't.
My bad.
I don't. Okay. It comes out that secret societies, any society that would require initiation, was declared treacherous because the French Revolution was happening, and they were afraid that information was being passed secretly amongst these organizations. Yeah. So it was all like everything was disbanded, except for the Freemasons. They were allowed to hang out as long as they took a membership poll or like.
Well, Freemasons have been around for.
They've been around for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years, actually.
Yeah, hundreds.
Yeah. Because they developed from stonemasons. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that I have my liquid philosophy?
You mean your wine?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fine.
I got the philosophy sweats. So,
Velociraptor. Sorry, let's go.
Intoxosaurus.
Sorry, let's go.
Freemasonry was huge during this time because they had to make everything public at this time because there was no secret societies weren't allowed anymore. No. So Freemasonry was becoming like kind of a hot topic because now this once secret society had a membership roster. And
it was like the only one.
And it was the only one because everything else was a no-no.
Yeah.
So Freemasons started hundreds of years ago with a stonemasons guild. Mm-hmm. And stonemasons for their time were like so intelligent because they were craftsmen. They constructed cathedrals, castles, battlements, like anything that was made in the time back in that time was by these
Delta Force.
They are the Delta Force of stonemasons.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so these Masons guilds were actually formed so that they could share their knowledge with other Masons. It was just a craftsman group.
Yeah.
It's also talked about a little bit, but not a whole lot, so I can't get into it too much, that the Masons Guilds, because it was also a really dangerous field, I guess if you're working up high with heavy stone, I guess there was a lot of death and injury.
Not for the engineer, but for like the laborer.
Maybe the laborer. Yeah. So peon. It's said in a couple sources that the stonemasons guilds also were initiated to take care of members of the family who had suffered loss.
Yeah.
Or a mason maybe had been injured, and so now this guild will be there to take care of them. So it was like a sense of community almost.
Yeah, I get it.
And this is where the amassing of like ancient texts start.
Ooh.
So you have all these masons who are dedicated to their art and craft. Mm-hmm. They have all these texts that have been handed down to them through generations of like how to cut and store and build. And you think of the pyramids and that feat. So it's like all these like way back feats of engineering are being passed on through this stonemason guild.
Okay.
But what eventually happens is that the stonemasons become extinct, essentially. You don't need stonemasons anymore once you get to the 18th century. Cathedrals are already built. They're not being built anymore. You're not erecting castles. And
their foundation was based off of ancient astronaut technology.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
I love that.
As intelligent as they were, or are still, to be a Freemason, you still have to be very intelligent. But I'd like to think that they were really humble, even though a lot of what I've learned made me think otherwise. But do you know what the Masonic symbol is?
You have like the compass
or
the protractor or something like that.
It's the compass and the square. So your right angles and your degrees.
Protractor.
Protractor. In the shape of a diamond, I guess you could say. And in the center is a
G. G
for God.
Go get it.
Damn it, Gail!
Get after it.
Get her done. Get her done.
For God. Okay, I get it.
For God.
The ultimate architect.
Exactly. What? Are you a Freemason?
I can't tell you. I
know.
Maybe I have to kill you.
No, you'd have to give me a secret handshake.
Did you say I have to do?
Well, you do me. But over my dead body. Oh, no, you'd like that. You're weird like that. Okay.
Oh, my God.
So, G stands for God.
God. Okay.
Also known as the grand
Grand
architect
architect.
of the
That makes
universe.
sense.
Even though they saw themselves as like this really superior, not necessarily that they saw themselves superior, but they were an elite.
Yeah, but still a religious organization.
But they still put God 1st. Yeah. Although Masons were like considered the highest in societal esteem, they still deemed no one higher to them than the grand architect. As with all things with evolution and inventions, eventually it whittles down to where stonemasons aren't really needed. So these stonemason guilds are dwindling in number.
They have to move with the time, so they have to like upgrade their image, right? So they go
And
from stonemasons to
just intellects.
Yeah.
Maybe studying ancient text.
Yeah, because stone may not be a big thing, but there's still like
There's still knowledge to be gained.
100%.
They can continue to glean information.
Yeah, there's like a rebranding almost.
Yeah, exactly. So
They
they
become-
open the doors.
Freemasons.
They open the doors to not just stonemasons, anybody who wants to be. As long as they meet the exceptions.
So my question, because you're researching this, I'm kind of ignorant of some of the stonemason stuff.
Yeah.
Beyond stonemason, what is their concept and who would they accept? Just anyone who has intellectual pursuit?
I have a checklist.
Oh, okay. Like I feel like I'm a decently smart person.
You could be a Freemason, but I'll tell you what you have to do to become one. So they start opening the doors. So now this once society that was reserved strictly for Masons is now open to anybody who believes in a supreme being,
Check.
can join of their own free will,
Check. I'm a boss.
be a man,
Hell yeah. Check. Triple check.
must be freeborn,
Yes, check.
must be between the ages of 18 and 25. You old
Well,
fart.
whatever.
And you must be recommended by at least 2 other Masons.
Everyone loves
Everybody loves you.
the D. Sorry.
Okay. So now that these stipulations are put into place, and a lot of it is being recommended by 2 existing Freemasons,
Yep.
it has to be like you have to be intelligent, you have to be a good man, you have to come from a good family, you must be like an upstanding citizen, like all these things.
Can I give you my one West Point story?
Sure, of course.
So I went to West Point, which is a very prestigious engineer school.
Yeah.
Right. Is ranked number 1 and so on. So apparently I'm decently smart is what I'm told. And
You're
so
the smartest person I know.
apparently
Doesn't show
not all
always.
the time. However,
Like yesterday, for example.
stop it. Let me bask in this.
I know.
No, but
You're so humble.
So I remember at West Point, there is actually like a recruitment for Masons.
Yeah.
And other cults and other these sects and so on. And we would get like a warning letter from the dean stating that be aware that some of these places are asking you to commit to them over
Yeah.
your oath to the military, an oath to office.
Yeah.
And so they're like, just be aware, if you sign these, if you get recruited or headhunted for these organizations, that they're going to want you to commit, and you got to put America first and your Constitution first and everything else. And so it was very poo-pooed on if you went through all these things.
It was don't join.
Don't join, because ultimately they want you to put whatever their cause in front of anything that you previously did. It's their cause is over America.
Yeah.
It's over the Constitution. It's over all these different things. And so is a very big non-push, I guess.
Yeah.
So I didn't get into it.
Which I'm kind of sad you didn't.
Yeah, you missed your chance, guys. I probably would have. No one went to me. But I didn't go to them because they're like, oh, the
Were
Constitution.
you scared?
No, I
were
was just,
scared.
I saw Skull and Bones, the TV show, but apparently everyone got a car and $1 million. And I'm like, damn it, I should have
Why
joined.
didn't you join? Oh, your
let
soul
you
was
down.
already sold to America.
Yeah, America. Which is true. I love America.
I know, we love America.
You're welcome.
So at this time, there's a bunch of non-Masons who are joining this Masons Guild, and it eventually becomes known as the Freemasons.
Nice.
Which really, it's just a fraternity. It's really just a bunch of bros hanging out in pantaloons.
But the Freemasons, because we watch Oak Island, was around well before the 1700s, though.
They've been around for a long time, but I'm talking about when they started having to keep documentation, started becoming records. So they're less secret now. Their organization right now is not a secret. The Freemasons aren't a secret. What they do is a secret.
Got it. So, okay, thank you.
But they themselves now. So Freemasons will even tell you, we're not secret. How secret are Freemasons?
Yeah, I got a bumper sticker.
Yeah, okay. I literally got an email from a Freemason a couple days ago. Freemasons are not secret.
Yeah.
What they do is secret. But some examples of some Freemasons are like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Roosevelt, Gerald Ford, Churchill, Mozart, Davy Crockett, and Buzz Aldrin. Those are just a few. This is when this esoteric research really kicked me in the crotch.
Okay.
I had to start thinking about Freemasonry in terms of Boy Scouts.
Okay.
I had to dumb it down. So there's troops all over the world, right? There's Boy Scouts troops all over the world.
Yep.
And at each Boy Scout location, they have like a lodge, like a meeting room.
Yeah. And they don't rape kids. We'll think that.
We'll think that now, but I know otherwise.
Think that. Ignorance.
I have nothing to speak on that. Well, I think that should be a whole episode by itself. But you start off as a Cub Scout, then you move to a Boy Scout, and then you become an Eagle Scout.
Do you have to pay money like Scientology?
I don't know. I didn't look it up.
Okay. I know they have rituals and so on.
I think you do.
I don't know how much money you have to put in.
I didn't look because I was just like, it was too esoteric.
Okay. Okay.
Freemasons have the same type of system in place. You start off as apprentice, then you move to fellow craftsman, and then you move to master apprentice. Are you excited?
I got a crazy idea.
What?
Because of my background, I could probably join a Freemason.
Boy Scouts? Oh.
No, a Freemason society.
You're over 28.
Nah, that doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. That's the one of the 6 stipulations.
That was in 1700s. What about now? Because I'm like, now, I have a pretty solid background.
Now things have changed, and I actually would really like. Okay, I think why I had such a hard time researching it because the whole time was like, I want to be a Freemason, but I can't.
I was going to say maybe I can be a Freemason, and I'll report on it.
I want to know. Okay, episodes. So people do that, and it's. I didn't write this in my notes, so this is just me off the cuff.
Yeah.
When you become a Freemason, what you learn is so valuable that they will take your life if you spread it.
Well,
this information.
Thing is, I know how to defend my life.
We went over this.
Uh-oh.
Your reflexes are a lot slower now.
It is. My mentality is like on point, but my physicality maybe pulling a hammy.
Yeah. So older. I love the enthusiasm.
My energy is all over it.
You can't tell me that if a ninja burst in the door right now, you'd be able to defend yourself.
I will be mentally, let's bring it. Physically, my body's like, what are you doing?
Mentally, you'd be like destroying them while they were tying you in a knot. Times have changed.
I can defend myself.
You can defend yourself, yes. So let's do something fun. So Masons have these different levels. Mm-hmm. The apprentice, the fellow craft, and then the master. Mm-hmm. And at each level, they're taught different handshakes, different passwords. Nice. And it's really all just based off of tradition.
Bro stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of bros and pantaloons being theatrical is really what it is. Best of theatrical pantaloons broing out.
I could bro the crap out of that.
You could bro the crap out of it. So I just saw this note in here. I'm the funniest person. It says, for all the Skittles in Skittletown, I could not find out what the purpose of any of these were.
Hey, we support and appreciate what you do, babe.
The only thing that was phenomenal about all these secrets was how stupid they are and how long they've been happening. Okay, so look, let's do it. I found all the handshakes. So look, if you are, this is what's fun. Grip of an entered apprentice. The first
Oh, wow.
one.
You have printed.
It's pictures.
Printed
So
pictures.
watch, shake
We're
my
doing it.
hand.
Hold on.
We're like a thumb war.
We're doing the grip of the apprentice?
Yeah. So like a thumb war. And then my thumb is pushing on your knuckle.
Yeah. I get it. And now we're going to do the real grip of a master mason.
What is
the
that?
Lion's paw.
Ooh, the lion's paw.
Oh my God. We're doing it. Oh God. No, you gotta.
Is it me or you?
You gotta.
I'm still in the thumb war position.
Yeah, kind of.
And you're like, what,
Yes,
clawing?
I'm like clawing you. It's called the lion's paw. Now we're going to do the apprentice to the pass grip of a fellow craft. And it's like.
Pinky out?
No, it's like a weird, like limp handshake.
Okay.
Pass
What we're
grip
getting
of
at.
a marked master mason. Oh,
Okay.
wait, it's like we're touching tips.
Okay.
Thumb tips.
What
Oh
I'm
my
getting
gosh.
at is stupid, right?
This is hilarious.
Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Now we are going to share a
Oh my God.
password.
I'm sorry. I know you can't see this.
I'm going to post it in the show notes.
12 different handshakes and what they mean. That's awesome.
Shoot, I meant to print out 2 copies of these so we can do it like a script. Can you read? If I put this here?
Ooh, the grip of a most excellent master. I want to do this with you. Give me. I'm.
Ow!
Oh, that's right.
Because you're a
will-
master.
'cause I'm a
I
master.
whimpered.
You did whimper. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
Isn't this fun?
I'm sorry, this is fun.
Okay.
Oh,
Look up.
good.
Okay, look
This
up.
is fun.
Now let me pull up this because now we're gonna do some scripting together.
No, nice
Now we're gonna share a secret password.
role playing. Those handshakes are pretty fun.
Aren't those pretty funny?
Hilarious.
Okay. So those used to be a secret.
The master
The
one.
master.
That's awesome.
Okay. If we were in a public setting, maybe I assumed you were a Freemason, or you
Yeah, we
assumed
didn't
I
know.
was a Freemason, or we were meeting for the first time.
Okay.
And it
We
was
assumed.
kind of like impolite to. It's like asking
like
somebody how much
flirting.
they make a year. Like, how much do you make? Like, what's your level? So I'm going to be WM.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Just leave it here so I can read it to you.
Okay.
So I'm going to be WM, and you're going to be SD.
SD.
It's the worshipful master
Okay.
and the senior deacon. And the
Okay.
worshipful master is the lodge's like senior.
You're the WD?
I'm the WD. I'm the worshipful master.
Got it.
And you are the senior deacon,
Got
who is standing next to the candidate who wants to join the Freemasons,
Oh, well, let's.
who is still kneeling at the altar after having assumed the obligation of this degree.
I'm ready, babe.
So the worshipful master and the senior deacon are presenting the new pledge, the new adept.
I'm ready.
Brother senior deacon,
Worshipful master.
I hell.
Oh my God. I conceal
What do you conceal?
all the secrets of the masonry to which this token alludes.
What is that? Oh, this is after you showed me the grip of the entered apprentice.
Yes.
What is that?
A grip
Of what?
of an entered apprentice.
Has it a name?
It has.
Will you give it to me?
I did not receive it, neither will I so impart it.
How will you dispose of it?
Letter it or half it.
Letter it and begin.
You begin.
Begin you.
A.
B.
O.
Z. Boaz, my brother, is the name of this grip, and should always be given in the customary manner by lettering or having, when lettering always commence with the letter A.
I roll.
Okay, so Boaz is the word.
Huzzah.
So you have these really stupid handshakes with these really stupid passwords. And there's all this symbolism between like entering from the east and exiting to the west because you're in search of light. It could have been backwards. Where does the sun rise? East?
It says in the West.
So it's in the west. Okay, yes. So you enter from the east because you're in darkness, and you exit to the west, which is into the light. Then there's
So complex.
all this, like, it's called geomancy. Did I write it down?
When do I learn magic?
I mean, just wait. And then there's all this like geomancy where it's like patterns on the floor. This is the magic.
Boy Scouts for elite.
This is the Boy Scouts for like the super lame.
But you spend money for this, so
But you have to be like the best. Okay, it's too esoteric.
Oh, yes. Good job.
There's so many traditions. There's
wanna hear
so many
more.
traditions. And it's like once you're in, so like level 1 Freemasons, I'm getting out of order again. Okay, we acted out the handshake. Okay, so what do Freemasons and mysticism have anything to do with each other?
Who knows?
Here is the link. Now, in the 19th century, you no longer have to be a stonemason to join this elite society.
Okay.
So anyone who met their before mentioned requirements can join. And when they join, they're bringing along with them their texts and their knowledge and information and everything. And right now, it's mysticism. That's what the world's interested in.
Sure.
So mysticism is entering Freemasonry.
With handshakes.
With handshakes. They develop a dress code. Masons used to wear aprons, and so the Freemasons wear aprons that once were protective aprons, and now they symbolize, if it's a white lambskin rug, it symbolizes innocence.
I wear an apron when I barbecue.
You do. And and they decorate their apron with varying designs to indicate the level and the lodge that they belong to. They also can get sashes when different levels are reached. And then there's jewels and necklaces, and it's like pretty princess. But for bros and pantaloons.
Because it's swagger.
It's swag.
Swag.
So, for example,
They'd be slaying it.
a 4th level master traveler, one of the steps, it's the individual is on a path for personal growth, and they are becoming an explorer of time-honored wisdom and harmony.
You can't stop me, police, because I'm a traveler.
Yeah. So there's
Sorry,
just
this is
all
fun.
these. Then it's like you go on to study, like you have to learn the Hebrew alphabet, and you have to study the Bible, and you have to read all these like old text. It's just nerds.
I mean, if that's for you.
But I mean, it would be great to like study all these things and like have like-minded people to talk to, and then anyway, so it just goes on and on forever.
Magic. I love magic.
I'm so sick. Freemasons,
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
What else do I have?
You do
over here?
you, Freemasons.
You do you, Freemasons. Oh wait. Oh, here. This is fun. Okay, here we go. More secrets. More secrets revealed. I'm all about. Okay.
Revealed.
This rap will bring the lodge to order, and it is a signal for the junior deacon to make alarm when he does take
Alarm! Help!
He takes the candidate by the wrist and raps his knuckles 3 times pretty hard against the outside door. The senior deacon then rises in his place and says, "Worshipful, there is an alarm at the door. Attend to the alarm, brother, and see who comes here." The senior deacon steps to the door and raps 3 times. The candidate gives 1 rap, which the senior deacon answers. The door is then opened about 2 inches. And then the senior deacon says, "Who comes here? Who comes here? Who comes here?" 3 times. And then a candidate who is wearing a blindfold with his left breast exposed to prove that he is not a woman comes to the door.
That's not inclusive.
And he wishes to receive and enjoy part of the rights and benefits of this worshipful lodge erected to God and dedicated to the holy St. John's, as all true fellows and brothers have done who have gone this way before him. Is this of your own free accord? It is! It is duly and truly prepared. He is!
Oh my God.
Is he worthy and well qualified? He is! Is he of lawful age and properly vouched?
Of course!
He is!
I got this.
But what further right or benefit does he expect to gain admission into this lodge of entered apprentice masons? By being a man, freeborn, of good report and well recommended. Since this is the case, you will let him wait for a time until the worshipful master is in the east, and is informed of his request and his manner, and his answers returned.
This is so lame.
Okay. Now we're all Freemasons.
Oh my gosh. That's...
Do you see?
So here's the thing real quick.
It is just it is this
tradition.
It's
right?
just this over and over and over
So
and more elaborate.
I want to make a note here real quick.
Yeah.
So I did 8 years in the Army,
Mm-hmm.
and I hated the formality. I hated
You hated doing the marching.
no,
and
not the
fields
marching, because I don't mind that, but it's just like the the tradition and you have to do a certain thing in X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not fun. Why? I get it. We do change of commands. We do all these things. And it's great to respect that. But I personally was not tied to that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to live into that. And so it was just kind of, I'm not a big formal person. Now, you would think I would be because I did infantry for like 8 years. But I'm like, no. I don't know. I don't get off on all this tradition stuff. And it's just...
Maybe just the bros and pantaloons.
No, I'll take the whore. Right?
Did I say whore?
I don't know. Did you? I think you did. Or the concubine. I thought I heard that.
Not once did I mention concubine.
Okay, my bad. Fantasy intermixed. So I'm sorry.
I like that, we're here, but your mind is somewhere else.
I thought we went there.
You're so free thinking. You're so esoteric.
It's the malaria pills.
Yeah. Okay, so we're
let's
going to
do
move
it.
on. We're no more Freemasons.
Yeah, moving on.
Well, I'm going to talk about Freemasons, but
I'm glad I didn't join because I don't.
not to this extent.
I'm just not into the formality stuff.
So
just
I
for
could
ceremony.
not. I could not figure out, apart from like all these stupid traditions, what they really did. They were supposed to be like bettering themselves as individuals, but it was like,
Do they pay a tax? Or
no,
anything?
I don't know. But it was all, let's be better, but no women and no Jews. And Catholics are questionable at best.
So it's not inclusive.
It's not inclusive. So I'm like, how does that better yourself? I don't know. And they're not doing a whole lot. I don't see them like bringing water to children in Africa. So I have my doubts about them. But here we go. This is where it gets mystical. This is where...
Bring the magic.
I know. I'm
so excited about
I know.
magic.
Oh, you're going to be so sad. I'm going to talk to you about 3 in particular Masons.
I want to be a wizard.
I want you to be a wizard too. I want to be a wizard. Westcott, Mathers, and Woodman.
Yeah.
They were 3 nerds.
Okay.
Old-timey nerds in pantaloons. And Woodman, in particular, was a collector of old documents. So he's kind of like an antiquarian in terms
Super
of...
formal.
Yeah. In the time. You see him. He has little glasses probably. But he's really into natural magic, which is like astrology and tarot.
Okay.
And, that stuff interests him.
Okay.
A Masonic scholar by the name of Kenneth Mckenzie passes away. And so he is a Masonic scholar.
Okay.
And in his possession, he has like a private library with all these like really cool documents and things like that. And one thing that was in his possession was 60 folios or papers.
Yeah.
Written in code.
Why?
And in the so black ink written in code on a paper with a date.
You're not at war.
With a date of 1809.
Okay.
Okay. So
Oh my gosh.
the people who were going through Mackenzie's estate come across these folios, don't know what significance they have.
Why would he do this?
They give the folios to Win Westcott.
Okay.
He is a fellow Master Mason and also a collector of old documents.
Did he quote, this is unnecessary?
It reminds me of like Christmas Story. Don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. Like maybe it's a grocery list.
I could see Dwight from The Office doing something like
Can't
this.
you see this?
And everyone's like, why are you doing this?
Why? And it's like his timesheets or like
He's
inconsequential things. Yeah.
Because I had to.
So when Westcott gets these 60 folios and he's just kind of holding on to them.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit about his history. Westcott, he's a coroner and a ceremonial magician.
Of course.
And also a Freemason. He joined the Masons at the age of 23. The lodge that he was a member of was specifically designated for research. So he was like big nerd. Like there's baby nerds and then there's like big nerds. He was a
Death
big
research?
nerd.
What type of research?
Designated research, just old antiquity things. He studied the Kabbalah, so like Hebrew script. A lot of these men could read Hebrew. And what's that old language that's dead now?
Latin.
Latin, there you go.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Beast. Thanks, smart guy.
That's what I do. I give my input on occasion.
And so this is where your memory might peak a little bit. Is
Got it.
he also joined the Societas Rosicruciana in Anglia, or Society of the Rosy Cross?
England.
Yeah. So
Anglia.
so you have like the Boy Scout Lodge.
Yeah.
And then when you are too big of a Boy Scout, you can like mature to like bigger Boy Scouts. So the Rosicrucians are like the PhD of Masons.
Sure.
Okay.
I want to be a Mason so bad, but then as you describe this, I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not.
Yeah. So at the age of 39, he gets these encrypted folios.
Ooh.
Written in all these interesting symbols and characters, no letters at all. And it turns out that the 60 folios were actually written in English, but from right to left.
Okay.
And he was able to translate them using a deciphering code.
Okay.
Using a deciphering code called Trithmius cipher.
Do you see a reason why you needed to decipher it?
These are magical documents, love.
Oh, what does the magic do? I'm excited to read this. Oh,
here. What am I handing you?
A code.
I am handing you
A code.
a copy of a cipher.
But being like, who are you deciphering this for? Why? Just because you can? That doesn't
So
mean you should.
he's looking at these and he goes, okay, like these, because
It is a decipher. I'm looking at this and it's foreign language.
Okay, it looks bananas. Yeah, it's crazy.
What's the translation?
Also putting it in the show notes. So there's 60 of them. I only have a few in my hands, but this one is this is folio 2. That's what it translates to. The copy's on the back.
Ooh, the adept sits on a raised placid with the hierophant. Incense should be burning in the temple at all ceremonies. 3 sheaves each, 5. Oh my gosh!
Okay, let me explain it.
Eye roll.
Can you see why I had to nap and
I
rest?
hate formality so bad, and this is why.
This is them. Okay, so 60.
Man, I cannot do this.
60 folios, 60 that you had to memorize, and these are the simplest ones I gave you. The other ones are like there's diagrams, and okay.
But there's no greater meaning to it.
Exactly.
So I could.
Okay.
Like I could do Scientology, and I hate Scientology, but like I can do it because there's apparently a greater good. This is just a formality, and it's just what's that word? It's
esoteric. It's just too deep.
It's just too deep
It's
for
too
me.
deep for your little brain, babe.
Apparently,
Okay.
I'm a moron.
So these 60 folios, some sources say 56. Most I came across said 60.
Man.
So it took Westcott a while just to figure out what cipher was used, because apparently everybody had to have a cipher. There's like hundreds of different ciphers out there, but this Trithmius cipher was created in the 15th century by a German priest. Westcott decodes these ciphers in 1887 and finds
And reveal nothing.
that they contain a structural outline for a series of magical incantations and rituals
Tell me though.
that correspond with the spiritual elements
I love
of
magic.
earth, air, water, and fire.
And heart.
In the folios are encompassed teachings compiled from the Kabbalah, tarot, and alchemy.
Okay.
Westcott is like, I'm so good. I just deciphered all these things.
Good job, you.
I'm going to go tell some people.
Write a book about it.
So these newly revealed rituals contain some forms of ritual from the Rosicrucians and some Freemasonry and also the occult.
Okay.
There's some Egyptian symbolism in there, and Egypt is one of the oldest known civilizations. So these folios contain some ancient knowledge, and Westcott is geeking out.
Book of the Dead. Magic.
Exactly.
Got it. Spells.
Interestingly, these cryptic folios also had written on them the address of a woman who lived in Germany. Her name was Anna Springle.
Okay.
So
Why?
Westcott comes across this address on these folios, and he's like, WTF, man. So he writes
must meet
this
her.
woman and asks her about the folios. Like, where do these come from? What do they mean?
Mm-hmm.
She replies to him and says that she is actually
Oh, gosh.
able to connect with supernatural entities.
What does that have to do with his question?
And she is actually the head of an order in which these folios come from.
I was just asking where you were born. Why did you
So,
feel compelled to...
Sprengel
I'm excited about it, though.
says that these supernatural entities,
Mm-hmm.
she refers to them as secret chiefs. And they
Chiefs. Okay.
relay information to her, which she spreads throughout these esoteric organizations.
That's similar to like the Godhead, where people are either telepathy or other ways of taking this knowledge. Okay.
She also confers that she herself is actually the head of the society,
Of course she is.
or one of the leaders of the society, and she gives Westcott the authority to start a new chapter in his area with her permission,
Well, thank you.
as long as he sticks to the guidelines of the folios. But the thing that is so interesting about the folios is that it's just a skeletal outline. It's not really like you saw on here.
Yeah, it's just like formality stuff. It's just
This one's
it's
fun.
drill.
So,
That's what
you
it
didn't
is.
finish. You didn't finish reading this one.
Oh,
So
read it.
the adept sits on a raised placet with the hierophant. Incense should be burning in the temple at all ceremonies. 3 chiefs, each 5 to 6, should hold a template, one of whom must be present at all ceremonies. Change officers every 6 months. Avoid Roman Catholics, but with pity.
Oh my God, it's drill. It's literally drill, and I hate drill. Now, I tolerate a lot of stuff, and if someone asked me like how my West Point experience was, I'd say it was
You hated drill.
Well, it was tolerable, right? Like,
Yeah.
I deal with a lot of BS, but I tolerated it.
Yeah.
And drill and this formality crap
Yeah.
was something I tolerated, and it's just stop it.
Yeah.
Stop
So,
it.
but he was under the belief that if he were to start this organization, that he would also be able to contact eventually the secret chiefs, the
Bullshit.
the entities, the deities, the great, the all-knowing. So Westcott is again geeking out. He has a I
No,
don't know.
own it, babe. It's
Yeah.
okay. You can say boner. He was excited.
So Westcott shares his finding with 2 other Masons from the Rosicrucians, a 59-year-old Robert Woodman and a 33-year-old Samuel Liddell
finishing him
McGregor
off?
Mathers.
I'm joking.
Okay. Woodman was also a doctor, and he becomes a coroner for the police.
Okay.
He's also an exceptional gardener and horticulturist.
Okay.
Mathers was a weirdo.
Sure.
His birth name was Samuel Liddell Mathers, but he makes up that he was descended from Scottish nobility, and so he changes his name to Samuel Liddell McGregor Mathers.
How does that help him magically?
And so everyone's like, so it comes out that that's not true, but and then he's really into this concept of Zanoni, which is a fictional story about love and the occult. And it's a fictional story, but he's obsessed with it. And so he practices veganism, which at the time is weird. And he's a really outspoken advocate against animal cruelty and animal test subjects, which is great.
That's a good thing.
But for the time, he was just different.
Yeah.
And he comes across as being like really eccentric. And others say about him that as he got older, he became more eccentric.
I want people to describe the magical things that they did.
Just be patient.
I'm not
now,
patient.
These 3 men are poring over these newly deciphered folios, which only reveal a skeletal description of sets of magical rituals and occult teachings assembled from a wide range of mystical sources,
Show
including
me
the
the
Kabbalah, the
magic.
Tarot, and aspects of alchemy. And eventually, with this skeletal outline, they create a spiritual movement and curriculum in this ritual magic and philosophy that includes fortune telling through tarot divination, astrology, magical rites that allowed for contact with supernatural beings, being able to commune with gods, ghosts, or ancient astronauts.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now you got me, babe.
They call this the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Finally. Now we're there. Wow. A lot of backstory on that one.
Doing best.
Doing good. I just want magic.
There's not gonna be any.
No, you're going to tell me all the magic. You already told me all the drill.
In 1888, through written correspondence, Anna Springle honors the three.
Did you say Anna Sprinkle?
Springle.
Oh, I don't know what
I've mentioned several times. So in 1888, through written correspondence, Anna Springle honors the three Master Masons as Adeptus Exemptus, which is the highest rank, and grants permission for the forming of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, in which the rituals decoded from the cipher manuscripts were to be used on her behalf.
I'm excited about this.
I am attaching a copy of all of the manuscripts in the show notes if you're interested. In addition, there was an insistence on women being allowed to join.
That's unusual for them.
Women were insisted to join and be in perfect equality with men.
Did it say that men could not be it? Like
no.
If you look at like witches, the stereotype is that witches are
women. But there also are male witches.
Are they called something different, or are
sorcerers?
They just...
I don't know. Not witch.
Just magic stuff. Okay. Yeah.
Which is funny because if this wasn't in a society and they were just doing this, they would be witches. Mm-hmm. And if men did it, they're just men. They're just bros broing out. Too esoteric.
Double standard.
Too esoteric for me. William Westcott and his fellow founders centered principally on leading members through scholarly study of symbols and rituals that would help them attain a higher level of spiritual being through natural magic, tarot, seances, divination.
Yeah.
And all of these in the Solio Pfeifers. Solio Pfeifers.
I've heard a lot of terms, so I'm just accepting it.
These cipher folios. That was silly.
It's okay.
Okay.
I love you.
So following these rituals with the proper placement on the floor and the knocking on the door and they should be able to divine the future.
Perfect.
They should be able to talk to God.
Perfect.
They should be able to cast spells to cause bodily harm. Many of the Golden Dawn's rituals involved invocation of Egyptian gods such as Horus. So they were trying to contact Horus, the Egyptian god.
That's kind of odd that they go to Egyptian because it seems like they're based in Christianity, right?
But what's even older than Christianity? Egyptian mythology.
Yeah.
Egypt is one of the first civilizations.
Or Greek.
So even though they believe in a higher being, maybe they're not necessarily contacting God, but a god.
Zeus?
Isn't Greek older than, or isn't Egypt older than Greek?
Maybe.
Significantly?
I don't know. Maybe.
So, Horus is the goddess of nature and magic.
Okay.
And it's reported that many of the first rituals performed created an atmosphere. Oh, this was fun. An atmosphere of playful titillation.
Playful titillation.
I think there was a lot of orgying going on. I was trying to confirm
Sexual
it.
magic?
Yeah.
I'm just like, in my head, I'm like,
yeah,
like
that's kind of what
laughing.
it was. Yeah. So originally they didn't teach any magical practices per se, except for banishing rituals.
Who are they banishing?
I don't know.
Like a demon or like
I think
an
negative
individual?
energy. I don't know. But this first, and actually, I have a link to it, and I'm posting it in the show notes. The video of the banishing ritual.
Normally, banishment is for a evil entity.
It could have been
not a person or a.
So maybe they were banishing evil entities. Well, if you think about it, if they're also trying to contact the dead and they're having seances, maybe they're inadvertently welcoming negative energy onto the plane of existence. So then in return they have to banish it.
True.
So what better way to learn how to contact the other side, because you don't just start driving a car.
Yeah.
You have to learn the laws of the road before you can drive the car.
Yeah.
So they're learning banishing rituals before they can invoke other beings.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. I didn't know that when they do magic, it's necessarily death magic type of thing.
Where did I say death?
Well, you're talking about like ghosts. It sounds like
Contacting the other side. That's not necessarily death or death magic.
Well,
yeah. So this is the outer order. The outer order focuses on individual self-development through astrology, tarot divination, and geomancy, which is the patterns on the floor. Each pattern has a symbology, has symbolism behind it. What is it? What's the symbology?
Symbolism.
Symbolism. The
Saints.
word you're looking for is symbolism.
I think it's odd that the stonemasons / Freemasons / going into this order is talking about astrology.
Yeah.
Or numerology.
It's because it's the era of mysticism.
I know but it's interesting that they bought into that.
Yeah.
I guess. That's what I'm saying.
That's the outer order. Mm-hmm. The inner order is learning about practical magic such as astral travel, alchemy, scrying, which is attaining otherworldly visions with the aid of objects such as crystals and mirrors.
Yeah, and remote viewing.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
Yeah, so they're learning how to do that.
That's interesting.
So after successfully passing this level, then individuals would attain the grade of Adeptus Minor.
Okay.
Which is the third level where you would be able to yourself contact the secret chiefs.
I think it's very interesting that you have these like really astute individuals who are now like, I believe in remote viewing and astral projection.
It makes you wonder, like, what are they reading, studying that would make them believe that?
Or have been shown.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, what?
Because there's a lot of UFO type of stuff happens in artistry and so on in the past. Mm-hmm. And so I am a firm believer that type of stuff, the astral projection, the universal conscious and all that stuff, is 100% real. So I am excited about that. They went to that.
They went there.
Considering they were like math people, right? Very grounded, I guess.
Yeah. Very, very practical, smart gentlemen in pantaloons.
Pantaloons, yes.
So being the third level and being able to contact the secret chiefs yourself is the highest level. That's like what everybody aspires to be. Now, the secret chiefs are the ones who are guiding the order. Mm-hmm. And it's always through the highest ranking individual. So in this case, it was Anna Springle. She was being contacted by the secret chiefs. She was passing on the information to Westcott, which is the head of this order.
Who's the secret chief? It almost feels like there's
it's a secret.
But beyond that, it's almost like she's being contacted or telepathy or some sort of thing, or she's being interpreting certain information.
Yeah. So is it just made up, or is it
higher being?
1891. So the order's only been around for 3 years. Woodman passes away. So one of the 3 founders passes away, and Westcott, who has been in contact with Anna Springle, suddenly loses contact with Anna. Woodman dies, and Anna's gone.
The whole order then falls apart.
Woodman's gone, and the letters with Anna stop.
So what happens?
Woodman is Anna.
What? What? Break it down for me.
This is where it gets like stupid.
I'm already stupid. What's going on? What did I miss?
It's hypothesized now that Woodman was posing as Anna. So Westcott has been writing these correspondence. So one founder is writing letters and the other founder is answering them. And they're pretending.
One and the same.
Yeah. Because
for what benefit?
In history, to validate that's not them, they're not doing it. They're getting their information from another source.
Oh, so they're like
they're creating this chain that doesn't exist.
Okay, I get it.
Because there's no historical record that Anna Springle ever existed.
This is the great disappointment. Oh no.
These Solio Pfeiffers?
Solio. Are they literally the solo? Are they
these
are back and
cipher
forth?
folios?
It's like reading text from the same person.
Are written is believed to be written in Westcott's hand. So they're claiming that they got them from this deceased Mason. But really, the penmanship is too similar to Westcott. Anna never existed.
So why would he do that? Why? What's the benefit? He got followers?
I'll tell you what the benefit is. You want to hear? You want to hear what the purpose is?
Me.
Okay,
I'm a baby bird.
Here we go, baby bird. So Woodman passes away. Westcott stops receiving messages from Springle, and then everybody is like, well, like everybody who's joined is like, well, who's talking to the secret chiefs now? And everybody's just like twiddling their thumb. And so then Mathers is like, the other founder is like, I have connections.
Someone must have
So then he starts communicating and he's like, not only am I now receiving messages from the secret chiefs, but I've also been told that we need to start performing spiritual sexuality.
He's like, finally. Ladies! He's like, finally. I've been fantasizing this for a very long time.
It was his out. It was his window.
It's my moment.
It was his opportunity.
Don't take this away from me.
Don't take this away from me.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So he gets weird.
I'm that guy.
He starts to get weird. You are that guy.
You are that guy. Too. Why not? Why not?
He starts getting sexually weird.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Sexuality is a powerful force.
Yeah. Okay, so he's being told that the secret chiefs are telling him that sex power is the thing. There's orgies and naked people all over the place.
Nice.
Some people are like, and others are like, yeah. 5 years later, in 1896, Westcott decides to step away from the Hermetic Order, which is like a surprise decision. So one founder's dead and one founder steps away. And it said that in a letter that he wrote to a friend, he says, it has somehow become known to the state officers that I was a prominent official of a society in which I had been foolishly posturing as one possessed of magical powers, and that if this became more public, it would not do for a coroner of the crown to be made shame of in such a way.
So it's like it's like they want to follow this magical stuff, but then they're like, it doesn't want to be revealed because they're insulted by it.
I don't. Okay, so
they're embarrassed.
It's almost like they're a little bit embarrassed, maybe.
It's like a taboo that no one needs to know about, but then it's like furries, like being a furry session.
So I don't know. I don't know what to think about Westcott, because if Woodman was pretending to be Anna and Westcott didn't know, then he's just being played.
I did know. Right? Didn't he?
He doesn't say that he knew that Anna wasn't real.
Not Anna, but like, didn't he take over the?
So he becomes the second in command, or there's two of them, and not Westcott. The other guy, Mathers, is like, now I have contact because sex.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's never really explained whether Westcott is a pawn or if he
just questions
into it, or if he's part of it. But anyway, so he feels like he's being set up. He says, I cannot think who it is who persecutes me. Someone must talk. So he thinks people are out to get him. He thinks that people within the order are ratting on him or like selling him to be crazy. And so he has to walk away to save his reputation. Kind of a deal.
Okay.
So Westcott leaves. He steps away from the order. But at this time, there's like a lot of prominent people have been joining. Like Yeats, the future Nobel Prize winning author, an actress named Florence Farr, and A.E. Waite, who is a co-creator of the the current tarot deck.
Well, I guess my question is, what's the point of them joining?
To gain knowledge and to possibly and learn how to astral project.
To gain knowledge of like the fictitious
exactly
person who's double.
They don't know that though.
I know. It's sad.
We know that now. They did not know that then. That all of these
writings were
made up. Or presumably made up, because it's still unknown. The exact origin of the folios is still not known.
Stop waving that in my face.
So,
okay.
This is where I'm going with this. Because if I didn't mention, this is going to be a two-parter.
Oh, okay.
Because we're talking about how from this secret society, from this occult, comes the world's most wicked man.
Oh.
The Beast, 666.
The Beast.
These are his nicknames.
Oh, okay.
This is Aleister Crowley.
He called himself the Beast?
No, that was his name given to him.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
Aleister Crowley eventually goes on to form a religion or a cult called Thelema.
Are you going to talk about it in this episode or next episode?
A little bit, but I'm going to talk about him more the next episode.
Okay.
An occultist later goes on to say that even in its heyday, even when the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was at its prime, there was not more than 250 members at most.
That's pretty low.
Which is pretty low.
Especially if they're like 18 to 25.
Yeah,
like
and it's
college students.
Yeah, but it's like a pretty like these people turn out to be like pretty like famous and prestigious people even after this.
Interesting.
What this occultist goes on to say is that the Hermetic Order, it is for those who are willing to take evolution into their own hands and to make these attempts to transform themselves, that a great mass of people are quite willing just to drift along. And they want no part of this evolution of self-induced and self-devised.
Well, I think the evolution piece is enticing. Like, if you told me that I had the ability
if you can evolve your consciousness.
Hell, yeah, let's do it, right? So I think it's very enticing for that. And back in the day, right, where people want to be, think of the American dream and all this stuff and stuff, right? You want to be in that position of power and that influence and so on. So I can see why people would want to do that.
Which I'm still, part of me is like, I want to be a member, but then part of me is like, I'd rather watch Netflix.
Not after.
I'd rather watch Netflix and chill. Let's be honest.
Not after listening to all the drill and formality. No.
This is where things really start to unravel for the order. Mathers, now the only founding member of the order, is in charge. Mm-hmm. He makes the acquaintance of Aleister Crowley.
Okay.
Aleister Crowley is an adventurer, a mountaineer, an explorer.
Man.
He comes from a really strong background. His father owned a brewery. Like he comes from wealth. Man, yeah. Perfect man. I want to be. I do him.
Yeah. Done.
He's also a raging asshole.
Oh. Well, you know what? That's kind of like
raging. Like his motto is "Do what thou wilt," which means I'm going to do what I want and I don't give a fuck. That's literally that. I'm not like being sorry. That's his motto, and people hate him.
Oh,
he is hated. So people
he had potential.
People just really don't like him. Yeah, he tries to join the Golden Dawn several times, but no, because you have to have two people. Mm-hmm. No one will back him.
Okay.
But now he's buddies with Mathers, the head of the order. So Mathers
way to the top.
Makes an executive decision and lets Crowley into the order. And everybody's like, what the fuck?
Sexual favors.
Everyone's like pissed.
Yeah.
Like, how did he get in?
Yeah, look at this
Not only
bag.
that, but like Aleister Crowley, because he's buddies with the head guy, he's like flying through the curriculum. Ugh. He's blazing and he's bragging to everybody. He's like, you did it in 4 years. It took me 2. You know, like, blah, blah, blah.
I'm a douche canoe.
Paddle, paddle. So
nice, baby.
When he comes to raise to the neck, I'm so funny. I wrote in my notes, he's just waving his dick around.
I like that you actually, with your hand,
was waving it like an elephant trunk.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes time for him to raise to the next order, everyone's like, no. No.
Denied. Canceled.
His interests in the occult and what was going on, he was too obsessed and it was too weird, and nobody like trusted what his intentions were. Mm-hmm. They're like, what are you doing? Like, what's your game? Because
when the occult is like questioning your occult,
when the crazy is questioning because you're crazier.
That's a clue.
Yeah. So everyone's like, we don't like what you're doing. Knock it off. Mathers decides to take Crowley to a different lodge and bring him up to the next level.
No, so just move him.
He just moved him to a different location where he wasn't known, and it was like
shuffle.
Yep,
that's all it is. Just move the turd to
turd shuffle. I like that.
Move to the next group.
The new like boot and scoot and boogie.
Yeah.
Okay. But the problem is, Aleister Crowley doesn't stay at that lodge where he was inducted. He comes back, and he comes back in disguise.
What?
He comes back in disguise and starts demanding that he get access to the secret chiefs because he is at that level now and everything should be available to him.
It's all fake.
It's all fake. And
sorry.
And that's exactly why, because everyone's like, we want to talk to the secret, because nobody is elevating to the third level. Mm-hmm. Everyone's stuck at the second. And everyone's like, why are we all stuck at the second? Because and Mathers is like...
Insert probable cause.
Yeah, exactly. So after Aleister Crowley induction into this next level within the order, everyone is flipping out. Florence Farr, the actress who like goes on to be just like this super famous, whatever, she resigns from her position. She's like, forget it. She's over it.
Yeah.
Infighting starts happening. People are fighting amongst themselves.
Because no one's progressing.
Yeah. Mathers starts to suspect that Westcott, the other order member founder, is like out to get him. And so Mathers starts like smearing Westcott's name, which just makes him look worse. And Mathers gets expelled from his own lodge. They kick him out.
Looks like it's going swimming.
So, oh, this was fun. When the Golden Dawn adepts start rebelling against Mathers, Mathers performs a ritual where he gives the names of all the rebels to a handful of dried peas and then puts them in a bag and shakes them and curses them to burn themselves out with continual quarrels and disagreements so that they may never unite again.
But then they united.
No, they actually never did.
Oh, it worked.
It did work.
Huzzah.
Huzzah, indeed.
Oh,
So
wow.
Mathers' curse could be considered successful because never again did the occultists practice ritual magic, and the Hermetic Order eventually disbands.
It disbands. Mm-hmm. What year time frame?
1900.
Good
Yeah.
riddance. Oh my gosh.
So actually, excuse me.
Drama
So
box.
Mathers is expelled in the 1900s. He's kicked out.
Yeah.
And with like his questionable leadership, his questionable contact with the secret chiefs, his blatant onboarding of the hated Aleister Crowley. So with all this like infighting, and so it sticks around for a few more years, but in 1903 it's officially disbanded.
Drama bomb.
It actually has started up again as of recently.
What?
But
Did it convert into anything after it?
It went off.
disbanded?
It branched off into different sections.
Like, how do you even continue with that after that?
I don't know.
Do they consider themselves Freemasons or any of like their history?
Mm-mm.
It's either that or nothing.
I guess they're nothing now. Yeah.
Okay.
Until now it's a secret or now it's a society again, but I'm not quite sure what it is in modern times.
Okay.
So Mathers tries to start a new order on his own.
Did they rename it?
He renames it to
sweet. What is
something
it?
Egyptian. I don't know. I didn't write it down because it didn't matter. He only has a member of 20. He has 20 people in his little group.
They got it right.
And then in 1913, he just kind of like retires and passes on leadership to somebody else. And he actually dies of unknown causes in 1918. So, but while Aleister Crowley had his toe in the Hermetic Order, he like this seed for the supernatural is planted, and contacting otherworldly beings is like rooted really deep.
Are you going to tell me more about it later?
I'm going to tell you about him in the next episode.
Okay.
Because in
I'm excited to hear about
1907, he goes on to Aleister Crowley goes on to establish his own occult. But the death of one of his followers, after participating in a sacrilegious ritual in which he drank feline blood, leads to the denunciation of Crowley, who eventually becomes known as the Great Beast or the wickedest man in the world.
I'm excited to hear about the Great Beast. And how do you claim the title of the wickedest man?
He didn't claim it. He was given it.
Yeah, but even worse, right? I'm curious what he had to do.
So that's it for this episode. We'll talk about Aleister Crowley next week.
I'm excited to hear about that.
And if you want to get in the mood for it,
I am in the
listen
mood.
to Ozzy Osbourne's song Aleister Crowley.
Oh, perfect. Will do.
All right. That was fun.
That's super fun.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Don't join a cult. Keep it real.
Unless you're the age
And down
of
to
15
earth.
to what?
Unless you're the
25?
age of 18 to 28,
25.
then you can join a cult.
I missed the opportunity. I don't know if I'm really upset that I missed the opportunity. I did see a couple of people who did join it while they were at
Did they get kicked out?
college. No, they didn't get kicked out.
Oh.
But like, I don't know. I was always like, maybe it's like that Skull and Bones, like the movie.
I don't know what Skull and Bones is.
No, there's a movie that's like another fraternity thing, right? Where it's like, you joined it, you're automatically given like $1 million.
I want
Here's
to
your
join
car.
those.
And I'm like, sweet. Why don't I get $1 million?
I want to join those, and I also want to be recruited by the CIA to be an assassin.
But instead,
And I also want to learn how to, no, not necessarily learn how to, but I want to develop the ability to breathe underwater and float.
see, I want to do all that. But then, like, the next thing you know, I didn't join the Skull and Bones. And we're renting like a 2-bedroom apartment
Yeah.
and living life normally.
Well, there's like, I also want to be on Gilligan's Island. So it's like, I don't know. Everything is a possibility.
One day.
One
but now
day.
I'm like, yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah. I don't know. It got me really thinking about, I always thought tarot was like a bunch of baloney.
I still think it's kind of baloney.
But I wonder, I mean, it's been around for hundreds of years and there's like study behind it. So I'm like,
I think the
what?
biggest
Maybe it's
thing-
like how mentally you're in tune you are.
So this is aside from the show. I'm sorry. So one of the famous debunkers of psychics and mediums and so on, I think we talked about him in our CIA psychics. I forgot his name right now, but it was very famous when they were doing tarot reading. They asked the tarot readers who 100% fully believe in what they're projecting to do the opposite of what the cards are stating and see what the
And see if
audience
it's
would
see if it's still met.
Yeah.
Is it like
do the complete opposite of what it's telling you to tell them?
so it's like you can find relation in anything.
And when those tarot readers who did do the opposite, they saw that the customer were like, "Oh my God, that's totally true. I could see blank," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I literally gave you the opposite of what you were supposed to give, and it still had that same connection." And so it was just like
You will
debunked.
receive whatever message you want to receive.
But it made a lot of them realize that our whole, and they are in good faith trying to attempt it. It's just can be subjective.
Well, Christmas present idea. You're not supposed to get your own tarot cards. They're supposed to be gifted to you.
Oh, you want some tarot cards?
I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I
I thought
don't.
you had tarot cards. Where are
I
they?
don't know.
You had them though, right?
Mm.
I mean, how do you
I
not
did.
forget that? You
I
had,
think I did. I think I do.
I know you had them like where we were like married, like early married.
Well, I think I do have them, but
I don't know where
they
are.
weren't given to me, so they mean nothing. They're broken.
Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. I'll give you some tarot cards.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to contact us, please send us an email, stopthinkingwithyourbutt@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram @stopthinkingwithyourbutt or Twitter @stopthinkingwyb.
And as always, please make sure to tell a friend, write or leave a review. And we
The more,
appreciate
the more reviews reaches a wider audience.
Yeah, but the big thing is though, like it's just word of mouth right now, right? So tell someone that you think that may enjoy some of our topics, and we appreciate everyone that listens. And again, let us know, email us, DM us on any of these Twitter, Instagrams, or Facebook, and we are pretty responsive. So I appreciate everyone.
All right, everybody, keep it curious.
Oh yeah, stop thinking with the butt.
All right, everybody, keep it curious.
And stop thinking with the butt. Like I said, out.
All right, everybody.
What am I doing?
Keep it because you're okay. One more. All right, everybody, keep it curious.
Stay curious. Out. Stop thinking with the butt. Again.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Stay curious.
And stop thinking with your butt.
Out.
Out.
Okay.
Perfect.
Out.
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 Would that be at the same time?
I got the philosophy sweats. So,
Velociraptor.
Velociraptor.
Sorry, let's go.
Intoxosaurus.
Intoxosaurus.